our next topic is actually about staying on the football field, but of course we are Patriots fans. We're still anticipating that big move that's going to happen with the Pats. But I think one move that they did just make was a good one. They traded a 5th-round pick over to the Raiders and got back Trent Brown, the humongous left tackle from the Raiders, who was so good for the Pats back in 2018 when they won the Super Bowl. And he cost, I think, $11 million. I think he reworked his deal for a solid left tackle. That's not a lot of money. It's a good contract, but it's not way over the top for what some of the best left tackles make in the NFL. So I think it's a great move for the Pats. There's also still talk about, are they going to trade Stephon Gilmore for a pick, or what they're going to do there. So I think two things to talk about here: some of the rumors about who the Pats are going to trade, and also how the Trent Brown trade affects the rest of the team down the line.
Well, I'll start with Trent Brown because I think that was a big move, solid move. Thumbs up to the Patriots for going ahead and making that move. The Raiders didn't like the value they were getting. They were paying him $14 million, and he still had 2 years left on his deal. And so this trade actually where he restructures his deal, and it's only a 1-year deal now for $11 million. So if he actually doesn't live up to it, the Patriots can cut bait next year. But I think he's going to live up to it. He played great when he was here in 2018. He always said that he loved being here in New England. He's extremely happy to be back. There was a joke about, one of his friends invited him to a concert, and he said, "Hey, meet me at the Garden." And the guy was meaning Madison Square Garden. Trent Brown went to TD Garden because he loves Boston that much. And he said, "Hey, I went to the real Garden." And I said, "That's what's up, Trent Brown. That's what's up." The Boston Garden, that's what most people remember as, right? Obviously. But I thought that was a great story with him, just about how much he loves New England and how much he loves being on the Patriots. So I think he's going to play a lot better being back in a comfortable situation, a place that he wants to be, a team that he's familiar with, a coaching staff that he's familiar with, a place that he's had success in. And I think this is just a great move by the Patriots to kind of just flip draft picks and to get a great offensive tackle back. And I think this is, a great move to secure your offensive lineup and to protect your quarterback, your future quarterback. And obviously now any, free agent that's maybe thinking about coming to New England, this is a lot more appealing now because you have offensive tackle like Trent Brown protecting you. And instead of last year where, at times Cam Newton was even having to be on the run himself. And so I think this is a great move of securing the line and doing it for minimal at this point and bringing in a great player. And like you said, boy, is this guy huge. One of the biggest players I have ever seen in the NFL. Good luck getting around this guy on the edge. And like I said, the Raiders weren't happy with the value they were getting out of him, but I think we're going to get a lot of value out of him here in New England. And I think the Patriots are going to be happy with it. I'm already happy that they did the move. I'm looking forward to seeing him back in a Patriots uniform. But then the rumor out there is, Stephon Gilmore for Odell Beckham Jr. Would that trade be worth it? Are the Browns willing to do that? Obviously, Odell Beckham is rehabbing his knee right now, and that's a topic that I'd love to do going forward on this show because he is really grinding hard. I've been watching him and Saquon Barkley both training together to rehab their knee injuries. So watch out for both of those guys. And like I said, it's definitely a topic I'm going to pick going forward is their rehab and how they're doing going forward. But I think that's a trade. If the Patriots could go ahead and make that trade, I know I would. I would trade Gilmore for OBJ in a heartbeat, bring in, a great talent. Obviously, we need to upgrade our wide receiver position. And Gilmore is towards the end of his contract, towards the end of a heavy contract, big money contract. He's going to want another big contract. So I think it's just better if maybe you let another team pay him. So even if you trade him for maybe even another superstar wide receiver, I'd be all for it. But at this point, if you were to trade him for OBJ, I'd sign off on that deal right now.
I'll start with OBJ. Guy's a tremendous talent. I think he's been, I don't want to say better behaved in Cleveland. I mean, he hasn't. He's not a bad guy. I think that gets blown out of proportion. But I feel like OBJ, Randy Moss back in the day, Terrell Owens, if you don't have an established quarterback with that guy, he can sometimes really influence a younger quarterback or a less experienced quarterback or a less established quarterback into just forcing him the ball. And sometimes I think that gets quarterbacks in trouble. So that's what I worry about. I think it depends on who the quarterback is for the Patriots. I don't think Cam Newton's the right guy for the Pats, but oddly enough, if they re-sign Cam and bring him back, I actually think he could talk to Odell and he could actually set Odell straight, because Cam's a great, he proved he's a great leader. He's a competitor. He did everything right off the field, and also, really got the respect of the players in the locker room. So I actually think it's whoever the Pats are going to, get in that quarterback spot is really going to determine whether or not they're going to try to go after Odell Beckham Jr. But also, if he plays for Belichick, they might be able to kind of not control him, but, trying to show him what it means to be a professional, I think is probably the best way to say that, and not try to demand throws all the time. But he's also a great competitor, and he wants to catch the ball. So, and he can catch any ball that's thrown at him. So it'll be interesting to see if the Pats do that. I have no problem with them trading Stephon Gilmore. As much as I love Stephon Gilmore, he's been awesome as a Patriot. After the first couple of weeks in his first year where we thought he was overpaid, he has been one of the best, if not the best, corners in the NFL. He's tough. He's a great man corner. He can play zone. He can support the run. But I think you're right. I think now that he's in his early 30s and he's making that kind of money, wants another contract. I think it'd make more sense for him to go to a team that's, a corner away from being a contender, a corner away from being a Super Bowl contender. You have teams like the Chiefs and the Bucs who have so many good receivers. Some of the teams in those divisions might want to go after him. So, I have no problem with the Pats trading him, even though I hate to see him go because I love watching him play corner. Love the Trent Brown move. I think the biggest thing now is, what is Trent Brown's signing going to do to the rest of the line? Because, he's going to play left tackle, I think. And then Isaiah Wynn can play guard. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to let Joe Thuney walk. He's looking for a huge contract. Thuney's a great player. He's an all-pro caliber guard. But I think they're going to let him walk. I think Wynn's going to kick over to left guard. And then I think they'll probably sign David Andrews, who's also a free agent. They can maybe sign him to $9 million a year or something, where Thuney's probably going to get 15 or 16. So then you have Brown, Isaiah Wynn at guard, Andrews, Shaq Mason, and then right tackle is going to be interesting because Marcus Cannon's coming back. But Michael Onwenu was awesome last year as a rookie. And Onwenu can also play guard too. So I think, if you have Brown, right now you have 7 guys that are starting caliber offensive linemen for the Pats, like really good linemen. They're not going to keep them all. They're going to let either Thuney walk or Andrews walk or possibly both. But Brown adds to that depth so you can let at least one of those guys walk who's going to try to go after a huge contract. Because I don't think there's a ton of really good offensive linemen on the market this year. So if Thuney's that guy, he might be the top offensive lineman in the market. He's going to get a huge deal. So I think Brown really solidifies your offensive line if you let one of those guys walk, or even if both leave in free agency.
Quickly to go over that OBJ thing, think about some of these other quote unquote diva wide receivers that have come into New England and have been fine. Randy Moss, right. Chad Ochocinco.
You had Tom Brady though. Had Tom Brady. That's the key, I think.
True. You got me there. True. But it's one of those things where, too, I think we do have to give credit to, and even the McCourty twins were saying it the Patriot way, right? Yeah. They were saying it wasn't all Tom Brady. It did have a lot to do with the coaching staff and the organization. So I don't know. I think it could be a fit. I think anybody could still come here and work out. It's professional sports. But honestly, I just got excited by the offensive line that you were just building up right there and describing. I think if that offensive line comes together like you just said, I think we could protect the quarterback really well. And I think you could get a great free agent to want to come in to play behind an offensive line like that that's going to be able to protect him. So, yeah, you just got me really excited. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do at the offensive line position and who they're going to move around, because they definitely got options. And I agree with you. I think when they said they weren't going to tag Joe Thuney, I think that was kind of the move to say, hey, go out to the market and kind of see what money you can get at this point. So we'll see. We'll see going forward. We'll definitely be talking about it on this show.